Hello, everyone. This is Rose. Today's topic from the Book of Life is Clean Up Woman. A clean up woman gets all the love we leave behind. As a child, Monique would describe the characteristics of the type of man she wants to marry when she gets older. Her parents would often joke with family and friends that their child has an old soul whom walked this earth before. Starting at the age of 4, Monique would put on her older sister dress and her mother heels. She would play house with her dolls. She had a 2 feet boy doll who she called her husband. She had a 2 feet girl doll who was her best friend. And she had 2 baby dolls less than a foot long. Those were her kids. She would talk to her dolls like they were living human beings. Monique's parents were impressed with the amount of knowledge she had for a child only 4 years of age. It came as no surprise to her parents when Monique's friends were all older than her during her teen years. Her college friends had no idea that she was still in high school. After graduating from high school, Monique's parents pushed her to choose a profession before enrolling in college. Monique was indecisive because no one profession would provide her the skills to do what she felt her life journey was taking her. To Monique, she did not want to learn a trade in school when she knew in her heart of heart that she needed a profession that would teach her how to oversee her future husband's financial endeavors, teach her how to cook well for her family, as well as supervise the house staff and personal assistants. What college course would teach her that? That's what Monique was looking for. But her parents encouraged her to pick something before she enrolled in college. Monique believed what her parents perceived as her unrealistic fantasies would one day become her reality. She felt that, regardless of what her parents thought. But she catered to the request of her parents, and she ended up choosing a profession. Monique's parents understood they had to have patience with their daughter due to her detailed imagination. But they were so happy when Monique selected business administration as her profession. During Monique's second year in college, she was a trooper. She actually went to college and began to take the courses necessary under her profession, her degree as business administration. So in her second year of college, she meets David, who is also a student at the university. They both had an appointment with the dean at the same time. This is where her and David met. They were waiting in the dean's office to be called in for their appointment. As they sat in the waiting area of the dean's office, they engaged in a conversation. David plays college football. He is in his 4th year and is looking forward to seeing if he will be drafted to play in the NFL. After 15 minutes of waiting and talking to David, Monique was called into the dean's office first. David was instantly attracted to Monique's beauty and her demeanor. He enjoyed the 15-minute conversation they had while they was waiting in the dean's office. He noticed she doesn't publicly display having a groupie mentality, and she carries herself with poise. As Monique was leaving the dean's office, David knew he had to seize the moment. He asked Monique for her phone number so that they could continue their conversation at a later time. They both exchanged phone numbers prior to David being called into the dean's office. David wondered why he hadn't seen or ran into Monique prior to that day on campus. He was like, wow, I know just about everyone in this school. Why haven't I seen her? He was extremely surprised that she did not know who he was as one of the university's top football players. The next day, David called Monique to see if she would love to have dinner with him. Monique agreed. David tells Monique to wear comfortable walking shoes and to be ready by 5 p.m. David comes to Monique's dorm exactly at 5 to pick her up. Monique is wearing a fitted one-piece jumpsuit with flats. David has on jeans, a jersey, and sneakers. David embraced Monique with a hug. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for accepting my dinner invitation. Monique's reply was, I was elated you asked. So where are we going? I assume it has to be somewhere near within walking distance. David says, your assumption is correct. There is a really nice local restaurant across the street from campus. I love their food. It reminds me of home in Louisiana. I normally order a takeout for pickup. This would be the first time I dine in. David's words made Monique blush. She was happy to know that she is the first person he has invited to eat at his favorite restaurant that reminds him of home. What he said spoke volumes to her. At dinner, David and Monique talked about their childhood, their families, and even their past relationship. Monique was surprised to hear David only had one serious relationship prior to him coming to college. He stated to Monique that relationship ended after his first year of attending college. His ex could not handle him being away from home, and the distance of a long relationship that they had, the long distance, was too much for her to bear. So she went her separate way and found her a new boyfriend. But David was not surprised to hear Monique has never had a serious relationship. He perceived her to be a person who doesn't date to just be dating. This thought made him feel very special because she accepted his invite to dinner. David and Monique grew very close. They spent every weekend together and they never missed a day talking to each other over the phone. A few months before David's graduation from college, as he had just entered his 4th year of college when he met Monique. But a few months before he graduated, he was drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Prior to leaving to Wisconsin, David asked Monique to be his exclusive girlfriend, and he vowed to communicate with her as often as he can during training. He expressed to Monique he didn't want the same situation he received with his first girlfriend when he left to go to college, and she couldn't handle the first year of him being away from her. So he tells Monique, I vow to keep the communication with us open and fresh during training. Monique was happy to be in an exclusive relationship with the man of her dreams. She wasn't going anywhere. She was not like his first girlfriend. During Monique's third year in college, she would travel to Wisconsin to visit with David at least one weekend per month. David's position as a quarterback for Green Bay was very instrumental in helping the team go to the playoffs and winning the Super Bowl. Monique was with David when his team won the Super Bowls. He surprised Monique with an engagement ring and a marriage proposal. He knew that they would win the Super Bowl. He was confident, and he wanted to celebrate it with the love of his life by surprising her with an engagement ring and marriage proposal. The following year, the two got married and bought a mansion to raise their kids in. They was ready to start a family. Monique moved to Wisconsin. She left school and she followed her fantasy man. They bought that big, beautiful house, definitely for a family, large family size. Monique was 2 months pregnant on the day of her wedding. Monique's childhood playhouse fantasy became a reality, just as she knew it would. She managed her husband's financial endeavors. She cooked for her family. She supervised the house staff and personal assistants, just as she did in her fantasy playhouse when she was a kid. 10 years and 3 kids later, Monique feels like something is missing. She was able to endure living in her fantasy for 10 years. But for some reason, she's starting to feel like something is missing. David has retired and uses his time to work from home, investing in joint ventures that has been very beneficial towards their family financial growth. But Monique, on the other hand, has grown complacent with her day-to-day routine and is having a sense of emptiness. She began to just feel this sense of emptiness, and she just can't seem to shake it. She begins to blame David for not feeling complete. She tells him that he needs to become more hands-on at the house. David is complex because he doesn't understand what Monique needs him to do. They have house staff to take care of all their needs. So he asks Monique, "What is it, baby? What is it that you need me to do that the staff isn't doing?" Monique tells David to make a list of 10 things or ways he can contribute towards the growth of the family as well as improving their marriage. What the heck? David do not understand the assignment. He is confused. He asked Monique, why can't you just tell me what it is you need from me or what area you feel I need improvement in? Honey, I'm here to please you, to help you. We have a whole staff here to assist you. So if I'm doing something wrong, help me understand and see it. Monique become angry with David. She feels David is being shadowed and do not want to have a closer connection with his family. David is so confused, he doesn't know what else to say or how to help Monique. She has become so fussy, he tries to stay out of her pathway and just agree with whatever she says or want to do. Although David's business endeavors are very lucrative, Monique has decided she wants to work outside the home. She tells David he needs to be more hands-on by taking care of the kids while she is at work. She go out and find herself a job. David asks Monique, well, what is the role of the nanny? Monique did not give him an answer other than, I want you to be more hands-on and take care of the kids. David just said, okay. He just went along with it and agreed. But in his mind, he knew what he was going to do, but he knew he couldn't share with Monique because there was no understanding her method and her logic for the things she wanted him to do. Monique's new job gave her a sense of purpose and excitement in life. She worked as a manager for one of the hottest radio broadcast stations. She would leave home early in the morning when it was dark outside and return home late in the evening when it was dark outside. Monique would make it home in time to kiss her kids goodnight. She barely spent any time with David or the kids. David hired someone to help with the kids. His newly hired employee took the place of his chef and the nanny. The new employee responsibilities were to prepare meals for the kids, pack the kids' school lunch, help them with their schoolwork, wash their clothes, and clean their rooms. He was making it all about the kids. He felt he can handle taking care of himself. The new employee would come to work after Monique left and would leave before Monique returned home from work. Monique had no knowledge of the new employee, Linda. David wasn't going to tell her because he was getting the job done. Him and Linda was getting the job done. He did not understand Monique's method for forcing him to be more hands-on when he was working from home. So he just figured, let Linda do what she needs to do. One night, Monique comes home. She informs David that she has to go out of town for 3 days with the radio station. David gave Monique his blessing. Like I said, he just gave in to whatever it is she needed to do and wanted to do. He just asked her to call the kids each night so that they can talk to her before they go to bed. Monique promised she would. Linda could see the tension in David's face as he worked from home and oversees the staff. She decided, since she only cooks for the kids and take care of the kids, why not prepare a meal for David? So she asked to cook him a meal and draw him a warm bath while his wife was out of town. Although David hired Linda to solely care for the kids, He didn't see any harm in allowing her to cook him a meal one time. What's the harm in it? Why not? He was tired of ordering food for delivery for himself. So while David sits in a warm tub of water, Linda puts a large T-bone steak in the boiler. She tosses a small mixed salad after putting an Idaho potato in the toaster oven. Linda was making sure this man was fed and satisfied. Linda is setting the table when David walks into the dining room. She pours him a glass of wine as he sits at the table. Within seconds, Linda placed the food on the table. She tells David, she says she has laundry to do for the kids. Therefore, she will be hanging around to clean up the kitchen after he finished eating. Strange. Why couldn't she save that laundry for the next day? Okay, where are we going with this, Linda? Where are you going with this, Linda? After Linda cleans up the kitchen, she goes into the den to let David know she will be leaving for the evening. She asks him if he will like another glass of wine before she leaves. David tells her, only if you join me. Linda says, I will be right back. She walks out the den and back into the den carrying 2 glasses and a bottle of wine. Linda filled David's wine glass to the brim before pouring herself a small amount. The two of them sat within inches of each other. They talked about feeling lonely and missing the touch of that special someone. I wonder who started this conversation. And they talked about their family. They talked about their relationship, their life. They just sat there and talked. So Linda, as they talking, she noticed David's wine glass had barely had any wine. She fills the glass back up to the rim. Then she looks him in his eyes and begins to speak in a very sexy tone. You look tense. Let me take the kinks out of your back with a massage. David smiled. His actions spoke for him, because then he lay face down on the leather couch in the den. Linda begins to massage his shoulders. Once David moaned, she knew it was time to make her move. She knew she had him then. She asked David to turn over. She begins to pleasure him. The two of them laid on the floor naked when Linda's mother comes into the house. See, baby boy forgot Mama had a key to their house. Linda's mother comes into the house. She comes into the room and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. David, shouts Linda's mother. How could you do this to Linda? This is why she couldn't get anyone on the phone. David asked Linda's mother to leave the room so he can put on his clothes. After him and Linda got dressed, David tries to explain to his mother-in-law what happened. Linda's mother screamed at David and told him, I do not want to hear it. Linda asked me to come check on the family because she kept calling to talk to the kids. She became worried when no one answered her call. I want you to know, David, that I will be letting my daughter know what happened here tonight. Linda's mother calls her the same night and asks her to come directly to her home as soon as her flight lands. She wouldn't tell Linda what happened when she went over to the house to check on the kids. She just let Linda know the kids were okay. But Linda knew from the tone of her mother's voice something was wrong. She also knows her mother would not say anything over the phone. Immediately after leaving the airport, Linda goes straight to her parents' home. She wanted to know what her mother knew. Her mother tells her exactly what she saw. Linda began to cry. Linda's mother wrapped her arms around her daughter, and she held her tight. She tells her, "Baby, I know you are hurting, but I need you to hear what I have to say. When I was your age, your father cheated on me because I had reached my peak being a housewife. I felt lost and insignificant, so I began to volunteer at the women's shelter. It gave me a sense of purpose again. It made me feel alive again. It made me feel happy. But your dad, he used this as an excuse to sleep with the next door neighbor. Baby, hear me when I tell you this. The proclivity to cheat is knee-deep in the thoughts of a man. A man struggles with cheating thoughts every time he sees a woman he is attracted to. It's like it's part of their DNA. It's what's in them. It's easy for him to act on those thoughts when we as women open the door for the cleanup woman to seduce him. This is not to blame the woman, but I want to bring awareness to how a man thinks. This is how he thinks. A man will put the blame on a woman when she slows down in catering to his sexual desires. It's not the woman's fault, but he looks for that window, that opening to give in to what's already inside his thoughts. Like I said, the proclivity to cheat is knee deep in the thoughts of a man. And he would look for that little opening that a woman would give for him to go out and act on his thoughts, and then turn around and blame that woman for him doing what he did. Trust and believe me, baby, when I tell you, a man will always look for a reason to not blame himself and put the blame on a woman when he feels that woman is not taking care of his sexual needs. She tells her daughter, she say, "Baby, see, this is what it is. For a woman, sex for a woman is an emotional thing. If we're not right in our way of thinking, if our emotions is not in alignment, we close the door to sex. But to a man, emotions are not connected to sex. It is like food for him. It is like water to the body, food to the body. It's like nourishment. He has to have it. And his emotions is not tied into it. He don't care who he gets it from. He just got to have it. So a woman can close the door to it if we're not emotionally in alignment with it at the time that it comes. When we are struggling with being a wife and a mother and going about our day-to-day routine, and it seemed very robotic for us, a revolving door, the same thing, and we begin to see it as not enough to fulfill us. We begin to shut down emotionally. And when we do that, so does the sex drive. And a man uses that because he's not emotionally connected to sex. He think we supposed to still be at that high peak we was at when we first got married and we first was excited about being a wife and a mother and taking care of our household. But somewhere down the road, we begin to feel like we need more. And it's okay. It's okay, baby. She tells her daughter, she said, baby, hear me. Hear me good when I tell you. A clean-up woman is a woman who gets all the love we girls leave behind. As previously stated to you, the reason I know so much about her is because she picked up a man of mine, your daddy. I took my man's love and I put it on a shelf. Unbeknown to me, I put it on a shelf so that I can go find something to self-satisfy me because I felt stagnant as a housewife. But like a fool, I thought I had my man all to myself. When he needed love, I was out having what I perceive as purpose and fun. I was out finding meaning, doing something to make me feel significant and alive again because my life had become a revolving door. But what I found out, honey, is all I had done was made it easy for the clean-up woman to get my man's love. Yes, that's what I had done. That's exactly what I had done. I took my man's love and I put it on the shelf because I didn't know I was putting it on the shelf. But I made it easy for that clean-up woman to step in and get my man's love. The lesson I'm trying to convey to you, my sweet daughter, is it's okay to find purpose, but you have to factor in the needs of your family within your purpose. I know the routine can become like a revolving door and be so robotic that you feel like when you need something else to feel alive and to have purpose, that when you find that thing, it's okay to go out and find that thing, but never substitute one for the other. Never do that. You gotta always know how, let your family life be part of that new thing you found. You have to incorporate your family and what you're already doing for them with that new thing that brings you purpose, that brings you joy, that makes you feel alive again. Never substitute one for another. Click the thumbs up and the subscribe button remember to click that thumbs up button. Be blessed, safe. Peace, people.